Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. President Thomas, faculty, staff, alumni, and a special thanks. I'll ask all the folks who helped you get here, your mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, all those who got you here, all the way in the back. Please, parents, grandparents, all will help. Stand up because we owe you a debt of gratitude. To all the family.
It's an honorable way to start it.
That is not hyperbole. A lot of you, like my family, had to make significant sacrifices to get your kids to school. It mattered. It's mattered a lot.
And
the friends of Morehouse and the Morehouse men
credit away from
of class of 2024.
Parents. So
I got more Morehouse men in the White House telling me what to do than I know what to do. You all think I'm kidding, don't you?
No,
you know I'm not.
Doesn't know what to do.
And it's the best thing that's happened to me. Scripture says, the prayers of a righteous man availeth much. In Augusta, Georgia, a righteous man once enslaved set foot for freedom. The story goes, he feared no evil. He walked through the valley of the shadow of death on his way north to free soil in Philadelphia.
The valley of the shadow of death.
A Baptist minister. He walked with faith in his soul, power in the steps of his feet to glory. But after the Union won the war, he knew his prayers availed him freedom that was not his alone. And so this righteous man, Richard Coulter, returned home, his feet weary, his spirit in no ways tired. 157 years ago, you all know the story, but the rest of the world doesn't and should. In the basement of a Baptist church in Augusta, he and two other ministers, William Jefferson White and Edmund Turney, planted the seeds of something revolutionary. And it was at the time. A school to help formerly enslaved men.
I'm sorry,
Last conversation. One great love, let alone two. You can understand. Tractor trailer. I love reading about it. Dr. King. How can faith get a day of joy, a day earned, not given? We gather on this Sunday morning because if we're in church, perhaps it would be this reflection. It would be a reflection about resurrection and redemption. Remember, Jesus was buried on Friday, and it was Sunday. On Sunday, he rose again.
How much more credibility?
But we don't talk enough about Saturday.
Jesus and God lately.
When his disciples felt all hope was lost. In our lives, in the lives of the nation, we have those Saturdays to bear witness the day before glory, seeing people's pain and not looking away. But what work is done on Saturday to move pain to purpose? How can faith get a man, get a nation through what was to come? Here's what my faith has taught me. I was the first Biden to ever graduate from college, taking out loans, my dad and all through school to get me there. My junior year, spring break, I fell in love at first sight, literally, with a woman I adored.
Oh, God.
I graduated from law school in her hometown.
We all know they can
I got
steer
married
us
and
down
took a
some
job in
crazy
law firm in my
paths.
hometown, Wilmington, Delaware.
It's a wonderful one.
But then, everything changed. One of my heroes, and he was my hero, a Baptist minister, a Morehouse man, Dr. Martin Luther King. In April of my law school graduation year, he was murdered. My city of Wilmington, and we were, to our great shame, a slave state, and we were segregated. Delaware erupted into flames when he was assassinated, literally. We're the only city in America where the National Guard patrolled every street corner for 9 full months with drawn bayonets, the longest stretch of any American city since the Civil War. Dr. King's legacy had a profound impact on me and my generation, whether you're black or white. I left the fancy law firm I had just joined and decided to become a public defender.
Definitely arguable at the CIA.
And then a county councilman working to change our state's politics.
Calm down.
To embrace the cause of civil rights. The Democratic Party in Delaware
It's my dog's birthday
was a Southern
today.
Democratic Party at the time.
Happy birthday, Bishop.
We wanted to change it, to become a Northeastern Democratic Party. Then, we were trying to get someone to run for the United States Senate the year Nixon ran. I was 29 years of age. I had no notion of running. I loved reading about it. Everybody knew I was going to run.
I will say so far this is actually a fairly good speech.
When a group
Been very respectful to some
senior members of the Democratic Party came to me, they couldn't find anybody to run and said, you should run.
Which Biden doesn't
Nixon
really
won my
typically
state by
do,
60%
but
of the vote.
I've seen it be very disrespectful.
We won by 3,100 votes.
But you know everyone
We won
can
by the
seek
thinnest
forgiveness
margin.
and repentance.
But with a broad coalition,
It
including
actually looks like he's
students
losing
from
some of
the best HBCU in
the
America.
plasticky look.
Delaware
in his
State
face.
University. You guys are good.
Actually,
They got
Alex
me
likes
elected.
getting some life back in his eye.
Oh, y'all think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding.
And that's
But
not
by Christmas,
surprising considering we hear
I was a newly elected senator hiring staff in Washington,
speaking
D.C.
or, you know,
when I
preaching
got a call
scripture
from the first responders, my fire
and
department in
talking
my
about some
hometown.
Wonderful things.
Forever altered
to
my
me.
life. They put a young woman, first responder, on the line to say, there's an automobile accident. Tractor trailer hit your wife's car while she was Christmas shopping with her 3 children. And she, poor woman, she just blurted out, she said, your wife and daughter are killed. My 13-year-old daughter are dead. And your almost 3-year-old, 4-year-old sons are badly injured. I'm not sure they're going to make it either. I rushed from Washington to the bedside. I wanted to pray, but I was so angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at the world. I had the same pain 43 years later when that 4-year-old boy who survived was a grown man and the father himself, lying in another hospital bed, having contracted stage 4 glioblastoma because he was a year in Iraq as a major on the Bronze
it
Star.
takes a real man right
next
there
to a
to
burn pit.
acknowledge being angry at God. I want
Cancer
to
took his
give
last
Biden
breath.
some real props for that right there.
In this walk of life,
People got real scared when
can
I would,
understand.
show
You
my
come to
anger,
understand.
but it wasn't that I was like angry.
We
I was
don't know
angry at
where
God because
or
I was
what
angry at the way
fate will bring
I
you.
lived. I was angry
Or
at the way
when.
that everybody lives.
we also
But
know
understand,
we don't walk
yes,
alone.
That's Father. He knows we're angry.
when you've been a
He knows
beneficiary
we're
of the
hurt.
compassion
It's not
of your family,
real
your
to
friends,
act
even
like
strangers.
you're not. You know, it doesn't
You
mean
know how
talk
much
to
the
them
compassion
disrespectfully. It
matters.
doesn't mean challenge them. No.
I've
But
learned
if
there's
that's how
no
you
easy
feel,
optimism.
He respects how you feel. Don't ever
But
think
by
he
faith,
doesn't. He wants to know
by
how you
faith,
feel.
We can find
He
redemption.
wants you to be real.
I was a
Redemption
single father
with faith.
for 5 years. No man deserves one great love, let alone 2. My
And-
youngest brother was a hell of an
in a
athlete.
great way
Did a great thing. He introduced me to a classmate of his. Said, you'll love her. She
to
doesn't like
follow,
politics.
stating being mad at God.
All took me aside until I met Jill, who healed the family and all the broken places.
Redemption
Our family became my redemption.
by faith.
Many of you have gone through similar or worse and even worse things. But you lean on others. They lean on you. And together you keep the faith in a better day tomorrow. But it's not easy. I know 4 years ago, as some of your
I'll
speakers
tell
already
you what, after
mentioned,
losing everyone that I personally
like one
know
of
in
those
life, it's not
Saturdays.
easy relying on
the pandemic robbed you of so much.
But
Some of you lost loved ones,
I'm
mothers,
going
fathers,
for
brothers,
the faith of
sisters.
humanity. That's no
who
doubt.
aren't able to be here to celebrate with you today. You missed your high school graduation. You started college just as George Floyd was murdered. And there was a reckoning on race.
You know, I really expected to
It's
trash
natural to
talk
wonder.
Biden through the speech. But
Democracy
so far,
you
he's
hear
really
about
got
actually
nothing
works
to
for
say
you.
really amazing, honorable things.
What is democracy? If black men are being killed in the street, what is democracy? Betrayal of broken promises still leave black communities behind. What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot. And most of all, what does it mean, as we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country, even if it doesn't love him back in equal measure?
Thanks.
When I sit behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, in front of the fireplace across from my desk, I have two busts, one of Dr. King, one of Bobby Kennedy.
Do you all think the CIA killed King?
I often find myself looking at those busts.
I just mentioned how he has them next to Bobby Kennedy. I guess it's probably saying they were both killed by the CIA.
Are we living up to what we say we are as a nation? To end racism and poverty? To deliver jobs and justice, to restore our leadership in the world?
I'm seeing everybody ask questions.
I look down and see the rose around my wrist.
We gotta keep, you know, we can't be okay with a little bit. We can't be okay with them rescheduling Reed just a little bit. We gotta keep pushing this stuff.
What would he say?
Keep really like searching for answers.
I know the answer because he told me in his last days.
Victims deserve comfort and closure, no doubt. There is no avoiding that, and that's only going to happen with truth and honesty.
Last conversation was, Dad, I'm not afraid, but I'm worried.
But we're also all
give
human.
Up when I go.
We've all been afraid.
We have an expression in the Biden family. When you want someone to know, give your word, say, look at me. He was lying to me, he said, look at me, Dad. Look at me. He said, give me your word. Give me your word as my father, that you will not quit, that you will stay engaged. Promise me, Dad. Stay engaged. Promise me. Promise me. I wrote a book called Promise Me, Dad, not for the public at large, although a lot of people will end up buying it. It's for my grandchildren and great-grandchildren to know who Joe Biden
I definitely will say so. This is the most humbled I feel I've ever seen Biden speak.
Faith asks you.
Whenever I hear
hold on to
Biden
hope.
talk, I feel like I never hear him
move
really
heaven
talk.
and earth.
He doesn't really praise
make
God.
better
He always
days.
talks about his administration.
Well, that's my commitment to you.
That's what I expected to really
to show you democracy, democracy, democracy.
But he's actually
still the
really,
way.
Reciting.
If black men are being killed in the streets, we bear witness.
About real stuff.
For me, that means to call out the poison
parents and having
of white supremacy.
For the parents that got them there.
Root out systemic racism.
Moving, America,
I stood up for George Floyd's family to help create a country. We don't need to have that talk with your son or grandson as they get pulled over. Instead of a trail of broken promises, we're investing more money than ever in black families and black communities. We're reconnecting black neighborhoods cut off by old highways and decades of disinvestment when no one cared about the community. We've delivered checks in pockets to reduce black child poverty, the lowest rate in history.
I mean, what's going on in LA? We've seen that.
Drink clean water without fear of brain damage, and it can't afford to
invest so much more money in foreign aid, and I'm
sure it's
affordable high-speed internet off people personally.
So no child has to sit in a parent's car.
We gotta start looking at these people's finances and see where this money went, because I'm sure for every dollar that the government spent out, money was going back into people's pockets for sending it out.
You have 100 times more opportunities.
So I'm sure
good paying jobs you can raise a family on in your neighborhood. Capital to start small business and loans to buy homes. Health insurance, prescription drugs, housing that's more affordable and accessible. I've walked the picket line and defended the rights of workers. I'm relieving the burden of student debt. Many of you have already had the benefit of it, so I can chase your dreams.
Defended the rights, but Biden's also
grow the economy.
Been an influencer of segregation.
The Supreme Court told me I couldn't.
That's a hard thing to.
I found two other ways to do it.
Forget, you know what I mean.
And we are able to do it because it grows the economy.
I don't think we want to talk too much about.
In addition to the original $7 billion investment in HBCUs,
he's done some really
I'm
messed up things
investing
$16
billion more dollars, more in our history.
Because they've also printed so much money and they made money worth so little to where, like,
most HBCUs don't have the endowments.
It doesn't matter how much money you gave if you made an extra $40 billion and gave away $20 billion in pocket at 15.
We're opening doors so you can walk into a life of generational wealth, to be providers and leaders for your families and communities. Today, record numbers of black Americans have jobs, health insurance, and more than ever. Democracy is also about hearing and heeding your generation's call to a community free of gun violence,
actually pay for what's needed,
free of climate crisis.
Because I know
showing
around
your power
the DMV area, it's incredibly expensive.
But also know,
and food's gotten incredibly expensive.
What is democracy?
People have jobs, but they still have to break the law.
You can't stop wars to break out and break our hearts.
We get medical bills, and when we get medical bills, we still have to come up with money that no person's going to make on a regular income. So if you don't know somebody or have family, which I know I don't, what are you supposed to do?
And I promise you I hear them.
You don't,
because
I've been sitting here preaching, proving everybody, literally,
I have more African Americans in high places, including on the court, than any president in American history. Because I need the input.
What do you expect somebody to do?
What's happening in Gaza and Israel is heartbreaking. Yeah. Hamas's vicious attack on Israel, killing innocent lives and holding people hostage. I was there 9 days after. Sent pictures of tying a mother and a daughter with a rope, pouring kerosene on them, burning them, and watching as they died. Innocent Palestinians caught in the middle of all this. Men, women, and children killed or displaced.
See, it's crazy that
desperate need of water,
where he's going.
Food, and medicine.
We have Israel.
It's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
To remove their corrupt politicians.
That's why I call for an immediate ceasefire.
Protesting like crazy.
An immediate ceasefire. Stop the fighting.
Okay,
bring the hostages home.
That's a good start.
And I've been working on a deal as we speak, working around the clock.
But the thing is, if Israel doesn't
Gaza,
get those people out of office, there's still problems to be had here. There's still problems to be acknowledged here. Just stopping the fight doesn't necessarily
because the question is,
everybody
you see what's going on in Israel today. What after? What after Hamas? What happens then? What happens in Gaza? What rights do the Palestinian people have? I'm working to make sure we finally get a two-state solution, the only solution, for two people to live in peace, security, and dignity. This is one of the hardest, most complicated problems in the world, and there's nothing easy about it. I know it angers and frustrates many of you, including my family. But most of all, I know it breaks your heart. Breaks mine as well. Leadership is about fighting through the most intractable problems. It's about challenging anger, frustration, and heartbreak to find a solution. It's about doing what you believe is right, even when it's hard and lonely.
See, they're scared. They're scared to come at the Prime Minister of Israel because they don't want us to start coming at leaders. But at the end of the day, it's like y'all make these decisions, so it's your fault. Like you can't wear that badge, dictate a bunch of people, make mistakes like that, and be like, well, I don't want to be held accountable. Well, you hold everybody else accountable for everything.
Desire to know what freedom is.
You make money off of prison systems holding everybody accountable. You can be held accountable too.
Why this college was founded in the first place. Proving that a free nation is born in the hearts of men, spellbound by freedom. But that's the magic of Morehouse. That's the magic of America. But let's be clear. What happens to you and your family when old ghosts in new garments seize power? Extremists come for the freedoms you thought belonged to you and everyone. Today in Georgia, they won't allow water to be available to you while you wait in line to vote in an election. What in the hell is that all about? I'm serious. Think about it. And then
it's just crazy how they prop it up prison, holding everybody accountable, making sure
insurrectionists storm the Capitol,
making sure we all
are called patriots by some. Not in my house. Black police officers, black veterans protecting the Capitol were called another word, as you recall.
We come at.
They also say out loud,
leaders.
these other groups, Immigrants poison the blood of our country.
Their own name.
Like the Grand Wizard and fascists said in the past.
Completely disregarded.
But you know and I know.
They're people.
We all bleed the same color. In America, we're all created equal. Extremists close the doors of opportunity. Strike down affirmative action. Attack the values of diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Honesty.
I never thought when I was graduating in 1968, as your honoree just was, we talked about, I never thought I'd be a president at a time when there's a national effort to ban books. Not to write history, but to erase history. They don't see you in the future of America, but they're wrong. To me, we make history, not erase it. We know black history is American history.
We're definitely making history right now. There's no doubt about it. These are
many of you graduates don't know me, but check my record. You know what I'm saying. I mean from my gut. We know black men are going to help us lead us to the future. Black men from this class, from this university.
Black men are definitely going to be doing a lot. And you know one of the reasons is because they've been through so much as a people to where, like, of course, they're hungry. You know what I mean? We've deprived them. We've taken them away from their families. We've literally destroyed everything they have. So they're definitely going to be on the forefront of rebuilding America. They're definitely going to be really doing wonderful things for us because at the end of the day, they have something to prove to themselves, they feel. And that's our fault. We should have never, been so hard on people, especially on things that they can't control.
You all know and demonstrate what it really means to be a man. Being a man is about strength, of respect and dignity. It's about showing up, because it's too late if you have to ask. It's about giving hate no safe harbor and leaving no one behind and defending freedoms. It's about standing up to the abuse of power, whether physical, economic, or psychological. It's about knowing faith without works is dead.
I can appreciate standing up to the abuse of power. That's a powerful phrase.
Today I look out at all you graduates and I see the next generation of Morehouse men. We're doctors and researchers curing cancer, artists shaping our culture, fearless journalists and intellectuals challenging convention. I see preachers and advocates who might even join another Morehouse man in the United States Senate. You can clap for him. He's a good man.
Stop. Shut up.
As I said, I'm proud to have the most diverse administration in history, tap into the full talents of our nation. I'm also proud to put in the first black woman on the United States Supreme Court.
Supreme Court, that makes me, those words make me feel uncomfortable, because why haven't they challenged this unconstitutional drug war? Speaking of the Supreme Court.
I've been vice president of the first black president and become my close friend, and president to the first woman vice president. So I have no idea, no doubt, that a Morehouse man will be president one day, just after an AKA from Howard. She's tough, guys.
And the thing is, we got spiritual drugs like DMT. They use the drug war to establish divide and conquer, to keep us away from God, to get a complete monopoly on all the drugs. They literally skyrocket prices for drugs. They keep us away from the sun. We don't ground because there's so many natural ways to heal all this stuff, but it's not financially feasible.
I know it endures.
When we talk about the Supreme Court, I get really aggravated because
and wisdom of faith
the fact that they let them use divide and conquer methods that are unconstitutional is just
still keep the faith
blasphemous to me.
So long as you can. That cap on your head proves you've earned your crown. The question is now, 25 years from now, 50 years from now, when you're asked to stand and address the next generation of Morehouse men, what will you say you did with that power you've earned? What will you say you've done for your family, for your community, your country, when it mattered most? I know what we can do. Together we're capable of building a democracy worthy of our dreams. A future where even more of your brothers and sisters can follow their dreams. A boundless future where your legacies lift us up to show those who follow. A bigger, brighter future that proves the American dream is big enough for everyone to succeed. Class of 2024, 4 years ago it felt probably like Saturday. 4 years later you made it to Sunday, to commencement, to the beginning. And with faith and determination,
that's the worst part about all of it is
above the horizon
since they monopolize the drugs, they have politicians, that fuel the fentanyl and all that. With that being said, it's like
prayers, a righteous man availeth much.
They use the funding from the drug war
a good
to
man,
distract
a
us
Morehouse
from what
man.
they're doing with children.
God bless you all. We're expecting
funding,
a lot from
and
you.
It's a really sad thing. So it's like they just use money to buy out people, and at the end of the day, all this money that people used in corruption, they gotta wash it if they want their souls back. Because I'm telling you, I'm not buying it back, and it's expensive. So, looks like the video's ended on his speech. I appreciate y'all. I'm actually going to be going live in a little bit